Welcome, everybody. We're live on YouTube. Everyone's going to slowly start rolling in. We're already going to start rolling in. We're talking Pedro de la Vega. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. How does the audio sound? Does audio sound good? Do you guys want me to turn it up? Turn it down? What are we saying? We already got our guy Barry here saying, "What's this about Pedro already being injured?" We're going to talk about it. I'll wait till everyone starts rolling in. Audio is okay. Do you think we should turn it up or turn it down? How can we make it sound better? Is what I'm trying to say. How do you think we can make it sound better? I'll wait till everyone rolls in. I'll give them a couple more minutes. I'll have one more scoop of yogurt. All right, I think everyone's in. Okay, let's get started with the main stuff. Here we go. Pedro de la Vega, done deal. Lanús keeps 20% of future rights and contract us for 3 years. That's what that's how you know we're massive. Fabrizio Romano is the guy talking to us about he's the one reporting Sounders news. It's no longer the normal reporters. If Fabrizio Romano's talking about him, you know it's a big deal. So Fabrizio talks about Pedro is signed. He's going to be on a 3-year deal. A lot of people are confused about this 20% future rights. So basically, if we sell Pedro for like more or just whatever we sell him for, Lanús gets 20% of that cut. We keep 80 of it. So let's say we sell Pedro for $10 million. We get 8. Lanús gets 2 million. So that's for that, if you guys didn't understand that. And it's just cool. I mean, the deal's done. I mean, it's been like very heavily dragged on. I think we all can agree. Very, very heavily dragged on. But it's done. We'll probably have an official announcement. I would want to say now that Pedro's not going to be playing for the U23 team within the next week or so. I think probably 2 weeks. I mean, because the window's open, maybe even a week. Because usually when Fabrizio says it's finalized, here we go. It could happen within the next week to 2 weeks, the official announcement. I think it'll be kind of soon. Now that he's injured, he's coming back. I think Sounders would want to get this because we haven't made an official, obviously we know Nathan is joined. Nathan signed from San Jose Earthquakes, Pedro de la Vega. There has been 2 signings, but neither have been officially announced by the team. And so many teams have made so many announcements. So I would expect this one to be the first one they announce. Well, Nathan might be first at this rate, but I would expect this to be the first announced. Obviously, we as well posted one of our graphics for it. Here we go. It's kind of interesting because certain reporters, certain journalists, so he said 4-year deal. So it's either 3 or 4. I think it's a 3-year deal, though. I'm pretty certain it's 3. Some said 4. Maybe it's 3.5. I don't totally know. But it's somewhere between that 3 to 4-year range. And then, of course, it's for around $7.5 million. That's the transfer fee we're paying for him. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But I think it might be worth it. The big news, though, to get into the big stuff, is De La Vega is hurt. Bang. I'm on the wrong one. Bang. He's injured for apparently up to more than 3 weeks. Christian said the same thing. Pedro injury is a blessing in disguise. Out reportedly 3 weeks. Apparently it's more than 3 weeks. And what Jeremiah O'Shane is saying, it could, if he's out for 3 to 6 weeks, might not be the most ideal. If he's out for 3 to 6 weeks, I still think there's a good chance he'll be ready by the opening game against LAFC, because that's not till the end of February. That's still weeks away. Like, we're talking, let me see, I'm pulling up the calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's like 7 weeks. He could hopefully be back by then. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of a blimp, but he's hurt. And fans are not happy about that. And I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on it. He's already injured, but that would mean he's going to at least be with the Sounders for preseason sooner, in regards to being with his teammates, surrounded by the team, surrounded by the culture, just kind of like, I'm not saying that makes a massive difference, but it helps. It definitely will help with the adjustment period and whatnot. So he'll most likely be with the Sounders in their travels to Spain, which is something that O'Shane touches upon in the subtweet right here. He touches upon that. So that's a good thing, at least. There's that positive. But negative is he's starting off with an injury. So how I would look at it is we do not rush him in the first game. If he's not ready for LAFC, we don't play him against LAFC. I would like us to play him against LAFC, but only if he was 100% fit. And what I'm worried about is, I hope Brian doesn't rush him back, like plays him too soon, because we've seen that. Like, he's done that with Ruidíaz. He's done that with Nico. Obviously, they were given the green light, but then Brian knows, like, he has no other choice but to play him. So I really hope we don't rush De La Vega back, because then if we rush him back, it could be like a whole like roller coaster if he's fit, he's not fit. And like, I don't think we're cursed, Preston, necessarily, but it's not ideal. I mean, we knew De La Vega was like kind of injury prone, kind of. We took the risk. And this is just kind of what happens. It is what it is. He's injured. It sucks. But he's a done deal. That's what I'm happy about. With all the stuff he's been doing, he hasn't had much of an offseason. Dude needs to remember to rest. That's true. That's another good point. See, Christian, shout out to you. And shout out to all of your comments so far. You got a point. I think maybe a rest is needed. And again, I think this is fine. I don't think the injury is the biggest deal. Obviously, as I said, it would have been ideal for him to have been ready for the LAFC game. But again, this isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. This is a long-term thing with De La Vega. We aren't necessarily, this isn't like, we need him to be good right from the get-go. We need him to be good for the next 3 to 4 year stretch, This is a long-term signing. And I think it's good. But another thing I do want to talk about is, we'll go back to this post on Twitter while I talk about this. One thing I do really want to touch upon when it comes to this deal is, I don't want this to be I don't want us fans to be like, oh, we got De La Vega, we're good. And I feel like that's kind of like the thing that the Sounders and Brian and all that are thinking, is us making just this signing is all we need to make. I think it was something like, I was watching it, and we can watch actually the video. Tom Bogert talking about the video. You know what? We'll watch it. Tom Bogert talks about this transfer, obviously before it got Fabrizio Romano'd. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Let's watch it. And I'll tell you about the part that annoys me the most. I put in my headphones for this. Just give me a second. So if we're going to go, let's head to YouTube. Bear with me, guys. If you guys are not subscribed to Tom Bogert, I think it's actually, his YouTube channel is pretty good. I think his editing and thumbnail work could be a little better, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Tommy Scoops. Okay. So okay, here you go. Let's blast this up. Okay. Tell me if the audio is good or not, guys, or do you want me to increase it or decrease it and whatnot? But here you go. So he talks about the signing.
the Seattle Sounders continue their long slog in long, slow negotiations to try to sign Pedro de la Vega, a winger from Lanús. He would be a young DP for Seattle. The deal would be around $6 million. And again, I keep saying would be because nothing's finalized, nothing's done. There's been a lot of negotiations, a lot of slow talks. Not the details aren't kind of getting there to the end. Seattle remain mildly confident or pretty confident, but who knows with some of these deals. It's been reported that now Corinthians has come in with a bigger bid. Who knows if that's completely real or if it's Lanús trying to get some more bucks out of Seattle Sounders here at the finish line. Look, so a little bit more on De La Vega. He had 6 goals and 7 assists in 2023, his best season as a pro. He's a great 1v1 dribbler. He's direct. He can eliminate defenders with the dribble, and
that's for me a very big positive with with De La Vega. This is something we very much needed. What is the injury? Apparently, it's a muscular issue. Which that's very vague. Very, very vague. Apparently, it's not serious. That's again what was said in Jeremiah's post, but it's a muscular injury that doesn't look serious. I don't know. But we'll continue with what Tommy Scoops is saying.
A key quality that Seattle were looking for to try to use with this DP spot, because they believe that complements their other attackers like Albert Rusnák and Cristian Roldan and Raúl Ruidíaz and kind of everybody else. And Leo Chu obviously is in this mold, but if you have $6 million to spend on a young winger, it's better to have more options than not. One interesting part of this is Seattle aren't like desperate to get this done. They're not dying to add another DP or add another attacker. Like, they really like Pedro de la Vega and they really hope and are confident that this deal gets through. But it's not like they're in a situation where, okay, if this doesn't happen, we need to know right now because now we need to go sign another player. Like, they'd be content waiting until the summer if this one doesn't come off, or just trying to pick their spot on another good deal from another target or another player. Seattle are returning the entire starting 11, I believe, from their playoff run. Nico Lodeiro was a key player, but he wasn't starting in the playoffs. So and he's left for Orlando City, and that's where the DP spot comes from. So all their stars are coming back. They believe that they outplayed LAFC on that day. Like, LAFC won with a Denny Bouanga wonder goal.
See, again, I don't know how true what Tommy Scoops is saying in regards to, is that actually how the Sounders feel. But do we really feel like we outplayed LAFC? We only had one clear-cut chance, which came from Morris. Yes, we had more of the possession, but LAFC came in with that counterattack defensive tactic, and they got it right. So they came in with a game plan that succeeded, and ours didn't work. I don't think it's much of a fluke. Like, we didn't beat LAFC all year, and we haven't beaten LAFC for a couple of years now. A fluke is if that was the only loss we had to LAFC in like 2 years. But we don't beat LAFC anymore. So I don't totally get that mindset, if you guys get what I mean. So I don't like what I'm hearing about how they think the squad is good. I think the squad's decent. There's obviously areas I think we're good in, but I think there's still areas to improve on. And the fact that we're not like that fussed at the De La Vega signing in a good way, I get what he means by like, if it doesn't happen, okay, it's fine. We'll look for someone else. If it's in that kind of mindset, like, oh, we can go for another young South American player, that's fine. But in regards to if we don't get De La Vega, not a big deal. We'll just stick with the same squad from last year. No. That's very bad thinking, in my opinion. The team last year was okay at best. Most fans can see it. It was okay at best. We kind of need a player like De La Vega, just like how Steven was just saying. Finally, someone willing to take on defenders. We have nobody like that on our team who can go down that wing and make a difference. That's the problem. And as well, yeah, it depends. When will Arreaga be sold and if Chu will get sold? The Chu thing's still 50-50, but Arreaga, get him off the books. We're almost at the halfway point in the window, and we've only confirmed Nathan and De La Vega, of course, now, but he's hurt. We've had great success in the summer signings, but it would be nice to upgrade the roster a little bit. All the top clubs continue to add quality, and we're still waiting. Exactly. Everyone's making moves. so far, in my opinion, I think the Rapids and Inter Miami, and there's someone else, are winning the window. There's 3 clubs in my eyes that are winning the window. But let's finish listening to what Tommy Scoops has to say.
Goal. So Seattle are pretty confident in kind of where they sit, and if they don't get this Pedro de la Vega deal over the line, like we'll see kind of what happens. But it's not like they're in desperation mode.
So that's what he said about the whole De La Vega thing. And by the way, I'll go back to Jeremiah's post on the injury since you guys are wondering about it. I thought that was very interesting. I did want to talk about that. I was watching that video while I was making dinner, and I was like, it depends on how you pick his wording apart, if you guys know what I mean. We seem content, and we feel like we didn't get, the Sounders didn't get unlucky, guys. Like, I don't know. Do I sound like very negative to say that? I don't think we got unlucky last year. I think everything that happened. Every team had more, there was many teams that had more injuries than us. If anything, LAFC played in 5 cup competitions last year. They played over 50-ish games. They played more than any other team, and they still made the MLS Cup final. We got bounced out in almost every single first round that we played in every cup competition. So we didn't play in many cup competitions. Yeah, we finished in second, barely, but easily one or two more losses could have swayed us from second to fifth. There was a very small margin of error, and luckily our end of season schedule was really good. I think there should be some urgency with making some signings. Again, I think De La Vega is a good piece, but now we've already seen he is injured. I think he's a good first stepping stone. Now that he is hurt, let's make sure not to rush him back. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon with De La Vega. We want him to be good for the entirety of the season. That's why we made the deal now, not over the summer. He's good. Nathan, again, just like what Steven brought up. He's a good signing, I agree. But if Kamal Miller was available, I might have taken Kamal Miller over Nathan, though, I will say. But Nathan was on a free, I believe. So fair enough. And he was a really good defender prior to his season injury last year, being out for the entirety of last season. These are 2 good pieces, De La Vega being a really good piece. But we still need to keep adding on to this, in my opinion. I still don't think if obviously you guys, we spoke about in the last live stream, Bell can play possibly in the outside back position, I believe left back. So that's good for us. But I still think that striker spot, guys, I don't know. I want your guys' take. What do you guys think in regards to the striker position? Some of the reporters are kind of like, I think we'll be fine with Ruidíaz and Morris at striker. I think together last season, they scored 18-ish goals combined, them two. For the fact Ruidíaz will now be our highest paid player next year, and he's only getting 5 goals in MLS and almost having as many injuries as goals, it's really not a good look. He could have a resurgence season, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, do we think Ruidíaz is going to hit a 15-ish goal season? I think realistically, Ruidíaz is only going to get maybe about 10 goals. Morris, maybe about the same. I mean, I don't think Morris is getting anywhere close to he's never had a 20-goal season. Ruidíaz obviously did back in, I think, 2021. He was, I think, close to a 20-goal season. But obviously, Ruidíaz is not nearly the player he was back in 2021. But the problem is he's now accumulating more injuries. Thing is, that's why I think we need some more depth pieces in certain areas. The unpopular opinion, Ruidíaz will be back to his best next season. What do you consider his best, KNS? So you're thinking 2021 form where he's scoring almost 20 goals in a season? De La Vega reminds you of Cristian Roldan, but a bit better on the ball and faster. He plays all out and takes on people. I wouldn't say he plays like Roldan, but everything else you're saying, I totally agree with. I think the hope is Ruidíaz turns it around as his contract year for him. He's kind of had a bad string of injuries, a make or break year for him. I don't even think it's a make it or break year for him. Ruidíaz, regardless of, okay, let's say even Ruidíaz scores 30 goals next season. I don't think the Sounders are going to keep him. My guy's going to be 33 next year or 32? I don't even know if it's a make it or break it year. There's not much to gain from Raúl. I kind of agree with your guys' points for I think he could have a good comeback year. That's no problem. But Raúl can make it through a whole season again. Never liked Morris as a 9 for a whole season. He's a good fit every now and then. Yes, I like that. I agree with Steven there. I don't think Morris at all is a striker to lead a line for a whole season. When we need we need a new 9. We've already seen it, guys. Even in Raul's best years, he still picks up at least 2 injuries in the season. Do we really want to keep going through that year after year after year when we see other big teams in the league have big players that stay fit for pretty much the whole duration of a year of the season? Sorry. Is there a possibility of buying out Raul before the start of the season and opening a DP spot? I mean, yeah, we could buy out his contract. It's going to be a big money hit for us if we do that, but it is there, but it's not going to happen. Apparently, Brian and Craig are cool with just Morris and Ruidíaz as our 2 strikers next year. I think that's good if we don't want to win any titles. I think that's good if we want to just kind of have a season we did last year where, yeah, we might be on the higher end of the Western Conference, but we're not going to win any trophies. We're not going to be competing in any of the cup competitions. You're saying, yeah, 15 to 20-ish goals a season is what he should be producing based off his salary. That's minimum. Let's be honest, guys. That's minimum. He's making over $3 million a year. That's minimum. There's players that scored that amount of goals that are on way less money, a tenth, a fraction, less than a fraction. Hopefully, yeah, I hope that over the summer, we might buy another striker with more money if we keep seeing what we have. Obviously, Eber's not returning. Cleveland's not returning. Arreaga should hopefully be sold soon. Like, I don't know why we're so slow with our business. Teams are just making moves everywhere. Bang, bang, bang. You see Tommy Scoops posting 24/7 about it. But us, it's just like we're constantly talking about De La Vega. And then the Nathan thing was sprinkled in there. I'm happy De La Vega has gone over the line. Obviously, now the problem is he's injured for more than 3 weeks. So he's not going to most likely be fit by the first game of the season. And I wouldn't want to risk it at all either way. We're all hoping the injury isn't bad. If it's something light, the good news is there's one bright light to this. He will be with us in the summer tour in Spain. Sounders are going back to Spain again for preseason. Awesome possum. He's going to be with the team. He's already been replaced for the U23 camp with Argentina. Here's hoping for a summer striker signing. That's the thing is, like, what kind of annoys me is why can't the Sounders just see the issue now and just attack it now? Instead of us doing that thing where midway through the year, we buy somebody. I guess it has worked. It's been a recipe for success for us where over the summer we buy someone. We have a good second half of the season. That is usually a recipe of success in winning MLS Cup. I would like us, though, to compete. The thing is, too, we spoke about it in the last live about Liao Chu, how let's start planning for that 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, too. I want us to make it out of that. I want us to make an actual statement in that FIFA Club World Cup because I think we're going to be the only MLS team in that. Obviously, somehow they'll try to get Inter Miami in there, but I think the plan is to get a number 9 in the summer. Better players usually. That's true. You got a point. There's a bigger sample size. That's very valid. Also, there's no reality where the Sounders are happy with their attack. Any message they put out about being okay if they don't sign De La Vega in this window is purely negotiation tactics. Okay, that's a good positive way of looking at it. I hope that's the case. I really hope so. Will there be any starting caliber signings this offseason? I'm guessing not. Like you said, it would be nice to truly plan ahead. I don't think so, Joseph. Based off of things we've seen, I really just think it might be De La Vega and Nathan. I mean, there's also what happened to the Scandinavian guy that Craig was talking about, that we're buying a Scandinavian guy that no longer plays in Scandinavia? What happened to that midfielder? The resources will open up in the summer and they can more easily get around the Ruidíaz contract in the summer. Hopefully that's the case. I'm curious what's the Sounders transfer after dropping 7.5 on De La Vega. What kind of buying power do they have left? I mean, if we sell Arreaga, we should have an okay buying power still. And if that's on the table still, sell Liao Chu. If we sell Liao Chu, guys, there's a lot more possibility for us over the summer. Any news on Arreaga? No, last I heard was the rumor like about a month ago that Austin might want to get him. Speaking of Austin, they've made like 4 signings already. Most teams are just banging. Tommy Scoop's just banging out news about everyone else. Then there's just us. We don't have much we've spoken about. The only stuff we've talked about over the summer is we got Jonathan Bell in the re-entry draft. We got Nathan. And then obviously the on and off stuff with Della Vega. And now that he is hurt. That's kind of pathetic a little bit. And the fact that we're okay with retaining, again, I don't think our squad's bad. But there's clear lacks of fluidity up top, especially, and depth. There's big questions about depth. When we don't, if it's not our main starting 11, our team's pretty dog water. Let's be honest. And you need depth in a long season when you're playing in 5 competitions. There's, again, exactly what Steven, complacency. Just there's a lot of complacency. People are going to start getting up there in age. Like, if we're also not going to play the kids like Obed, like we do play Obed and we do play Josh and stuff and Reed, but like, if we're not going to give them significant minutes, sell them to Europe, then you can give more minutes because there's obviously the rumors that Wolves wanted in on Reed Baker Whiting and Obed. Sell them, and then you give more game time to Atencio and Leyva, who are still relatively young. But I'm just saying, like, instead of hoarding all these young players, either use them or sell them and make money off of them. Like, I don't know. Like, just start being more cutthroat, like Garth Cutthroat. I know fans aren't like it's not appealing to fans to sell Chu because he was one of our better players last year. But Garth did not hesitate when the big offer came in from Shanghai Shenhua for Obafemi. He was by far our best player in 2015. But we're like, okay, we're getting offered 2 point something for him. Flamengo apparently are heavily interested in Liao Chu. That's what Brazilian reporters have been saying heavily. And we get anywhere close to 4 mil. Why would we not want to sell him? Let's be cutthroat again. Let's make money and let's do something about it, honestly. But that's my take anyway. I would want to get your guys' take. Where do you guys stand? As of now, it looks like the 2 signings is Pedro and Nathan. What else would you guys want to see? Yeah, I know. I literally spoke about that. How Chu goes against any good teams last year. I know. Do you think Obed has a higher ceiling than Cristian Roldan? By far, yes. 100% yes. I think so. Is there any type of videos or anything you guys want to watch before we end this live? Obviously, I'll let us answer some more questions, but I'd like a high risk player again if Chu leaves. What do you mean high risk, Ian? Oh, Ian, you're a referee? Damn, that's pretty cool. Damn, we got a ref in the chat. I think we should look to loan out. No, who to loan out? Chu, they've already confirmed they're not looking at loans. They're only willing to sell him if it happens. High ceiling. I want to go for another winger. Chu and Cristian Roldan is quite unreliable, especially Chu. I think Roldan's fairly reliable. You know what you're going to get out of him, but Roldan's not much of like a true winger. He's more of like that winger that helps out the midfield. He supplements very well, which I guess in Brian's tactics is kind of good. I know he's a cult hero, but I think we can flip Nouhou for a player with more upside. That's something I spoke about too. I don't think it's going to happen. Nouhou obviously has very good market value. He's a Cameroonian international, consistent one. He's been an MLS regular now for like 4+ years. I think Sounders could flip him for good money. I think he could easily break Oba's transfer record easily. The thing is, Nouhou's just a left back. Reed Baker Whiting is probably, or Cody Baker. I mean, they're both predominantly right backs, but you can easily gel them into a left back. No problem. You could have a young, hungry players fill in his position, and you can mold them into what you want. You make some money off of him, and you give some young players some game time opportunity. Any information on that Scandinavian midfielder we're pursuing? Here, I can find him for you guys if you just give me a second. This is what people on Reddit and stuff think who it is. Let me see if I can find it. Here you go. I'll share this tab. Here you go. This is who they think it might be. This is where fans speculating. This is who they might be thinking. I don't think we really need midfielders though. Maybe a cam, like a true center attacking mid. Because I would personally put De La Vega on the wing. I think that's where he plays his best. I don't know if the Sounders really need a mid. I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we really need one either. We've been so content with what we've had, but I think many fans would prefer we wheel and deal just a little bit more for a chance at getting better versus treading water for second and in a weak Western Conference. I'm glad that we all kind of see eye to eye on this because a lot of people didn't see eye to eye with me on this earlier on. I know. I said the same thing when I got the chance to talk to Cody Baker. I told him the same thing. I think he has a really high ceiling too. I think he's pretty good every time he got to play. I think out of all the youngsters, before Reed Baker Whiting's like end of season burst on the scene where he started playing really well, I think Cody Baker was our best young player, honestly. I was really cool with that. You guys think Nouhou's one to... I mean, he is a bit. I mean, he's a good 1v1 defender, but like, dude, with all of our defenders, I think I've mentioned this. All of our defenders, they all can have such good games, but then they can have absolute brain farts, like absolute stinky games. I think Alex Roldan's the most susceptible to that. Then it goes Jackson Ragen, then Nouhou, then Yeimar. But the thing is, we saw it from each one of them. It gets me excited too, but at one point, when do we start actually playing them? That's the thing. When do we actually start giving them proper game time? Because if we're just going to keep, like as the term that's been being used, treading water, like we sometimes play them, sometimes don't play them, then they're not going to gain any value and they're not going to gain any experience. When European teams are chomping at the bit to buy our players, like we just loaned out, who's the kid from, let me see if I can find this 1 minute. We just loaned out this guy, Antonio Herrera from Tacoma Defiance. We just loaned him out to Chivas Guadalajara. He's absolutely terrible going forward, and that hurts his market in the modern game. We've had to have a left back who can put crosses in, and he can't do that. Yeah, Nuhu's very inconsistent with his crossing. Honestly, Ian, I'm more surprised that we just don't have Sounders don't have a soccer-specific stadium they play in. I'm kind of sick of us playing in a football stadium. Now that I've been to so many MLS away teams, like Austin's, Portland, Sporting Kansas City's, who else? I've been to a bunch. Dude, soccer-specific stadiums are so cool. They're so much better than playing in a football stadium. So much better. Hello, Froggy. Welcome. We have Leyva, Atencio, Ragen, Chu, Vargas, Baker, other Reed Baker Whiting, and more. We can sell all of those players for a lot of money or have them become franchise players. The thing is, too, you could do like an Alphonso Davies move where you sell him, but you keep making more money if he hits milestones. So if he has another, it's like the same thing that Philadelphia did with Brendan Aronson. They made money off of his deal to Leeds. They made money off the RB Leipzig deal. They made money off the Leeds deal. It's kind of like the same thing we're doing with De La Vega, like how Lanús gets 20% of the sell on if we sell him again for more money. We could do the same thing with all of our other young players. That will be open next season. I feel like our back line plays a lot of games, and a lot of those bone-headed players could be from not rotating enough. And this is something we talked about in the last live where these boneheaded moments, it come a little bit from our defenders know no one's going to take their spot in the starting 11. We have Brian makes it so blatantly obvious. Roldan, you're always going to be my number. If you're fit, I'm playing you, Alex Roldan. Ragen, Yeimar. If you guys make it, he's like, don't worry about it. You guys will always play. Same thing with Nouhou. Like, I don't like that. You got to make it more of competitive culture. If Ragen has a stinker next season, especially, drop him and you play Nathan. You got to start making a statement. You can't let go of these, let these lackadaisical moments happen without any accountability, in my opinion. Our roster doesn't look like it can go for the shield. Not Not that it's the most glamorous trophy, but if you aim for that for the MLS Cup, it's more obtainable. Yes. But the thing is, I don't think our roster looks like a team that can win any trophy next year. Like, look, guys, let's be realistic. Like, I don't think we have a team right now that can win an Open Cup, a Leagues Cup, a Supporter Shield, an MLS Cup. I don't think we're winning any of that next year with this kind of team. I think we could maybe make an okay run in the playoffs, but if we don't have a killer instinct striker, we're not going to do that. If we don't have a solidified midfield where we know who is going to be our players day in, day out, some good depth pieces and backup wingers and backup forwards and backup center backs. Well, backup center backs, I think we have covered now, but you guys know what I mean. I always put, yeah, I know. Why doesn't Craig hire us? We play some FIFA career mode in real life with the Sounders. But all in all, guys, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the dealio with Pedro. We don't need to worry about it. Fabrizio Romano already gave the green light. It's already a here we go. The deal's done. He's going to be joining up with the team probably soon. His announcement will probably be within the next week and a half, I'd guess. And I'll answer a few more questions before we hop on off the live. We'll do like 3 really good ones. Why do we have so many center backs? Oh my god. Yeimar, Ragen, Arreaga, Nathan, Jonathan Bell. So Sissoko is not on the team anymore. That's confirmed. He's going to another team. He's out of contract. And Arreaga will be sold. So technically we only have Yeimar, Ragen, Nathan, and Jonathan Bell. So technically that's the only center backs we have. I don't think our team is trying very hard because they're like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm glad you could try to explain it. Maybe we would win a trophy if we actually try in the US Open Cup instead of playing with our D team. Got another point. If Jordan catches fire or Ruidíaz returns pre-injury form, we have it. But guys, Ian, whoever's thinking this way, don't we say this every single year? If Morris catches fire, we know Morris is not gonna be on fire all year. The guy is like one really good game, 10 stinker games. One really good game, 10 stinker games. Ruidíaz, you know he's gonna get hurt at least 3 times in a season. What it's like the definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing over and over again. As soon as we accept this is the problem, as soon as we attack the problem, which is either letting go of Morris or Ruidíaz, which Ruidíaz will for sure at least happen next year. But I'm like, if a good offer comes in for Morris, why not take it? You're going to get more money. Like the thing is, we don't take any risks. We're not wheeling and dealing like we spoke about earlier. You can make good money off of Nouhou. You can make good money off of Morris. You can make good money off of Liao Chu. You have these opportunities, these pieces where you could really free up some space, but you don't do it. Dude, I did like when we played 3 center backs. That was pretty fun back in the day. 2021, that's our last. You know, I think what's funny is, I think it's something I was just thinking about when I was just doing things. Our last best year, the year that I truly thought we could have won an MLS Cup in 2021, that Sounders team was so good without Lodeiro and Morris. Because Lodeiro was out for pretty much majority of that year. We made a Leagues Cup final, and Morris was out for pretty much almost all that year. That's all I'm going to say. We were really, really good, and we didn't have the likes of Morris and Lodeiro. Obviously, Ladeiro's not here anymore, but, like, I don't know, is that, like, a sign? Like, that's when we had a top-class striker in Ruidíaz. Like, he actually finally, like, did what we would want him to do, and we just had a structured, solid team with decent depth pieces. Like, Kellen Rowe was a decent depth piece back in that day. AB Sissoko was a good depth piece back in that day. I don't know. I think it's quite interesting. Yeah, this roster would only win a knockout camp if they were lucky fluke like 16, but hopefully we can strengthen in summer and beyond. Yeah, I think summer might be they not getting on ball and not accepting. What happens with Morris if Ruidíaz is amazing this year? And don't worry, De La Vega taking a spot. Why do you think Brian persists with the 4-2-3-1 when Nouhou and the team look better in a 3? Dude, Nouhou looks so much better as a center back and a center back 3. I think we all know that. I don't know. I would love to like sit down one day. That would be the dream. And maybe I could. Maybe it's a good idea. I should reach out to Brian and ask him to come on a video. I'm being dead serious now when I think about it. I could. Maybe I should do that. It's not a bad idea. Maybe I should do that. I don't know, though. I don't know Brian's tactics. I don't totally get it. But boys and girls, that's going to be the end of the live. Good news is positives. Pedro de la Vega, Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Downside is he's out for more than 3 weeks, unfortunately, with an injury. That kind of sucks. I'm going to do a little short that I'm going to record right after this that I'm going to post just talking about deals done and whatnot. So make sure to keep showing your support. Game plan. I'm going to try to have Tommy Scoops on for a video. I'm going to try to have Tiago. If you guys know Tiago, he's the guy that's been breaking a lot of the news for us over this summer, this January transfer window. I'll show you guys this count. Tiago Brandeo. I'm going to do a video with him. One sec. Sorry. Him. He's been breaking all of our news this summer. I'm going to have him on for a video just talking about the Sounders transfer business. What can we expect? And like this kind of his thoughts, just like a outsider looking in. So I have a few good guests coming up. Obviously a one big announcement coming out soon. So yeah, guys, make sure to stay tuned for all of that. But good news is Pedro de la Vega, done deal. Good stuff from the Sounders. We really love to see it. But boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.